Hi there, this is Justin from Templates, and today we'll be having a look at Notion again and the features that are used with this tool. So, our main focus for this tool will be going through the best Notion setup for your SOPs. So, this is for teams, obviously, and small teams. If yeah, it's usable for small teams as well. So, we can have a look at that. And with this, I would also talk about the reasons why most teams don't really succeed in using this tool. And it's not because they are missing features. Obviously, some tools are just a bit not difficult per se, but people don't use them the right way. So when it comes to this, the reason why people fail, or the reason why teams fails to be specific with using this tool, is because there are too many folders, there are too many templates and too many layers between the person and the process with regards to the workspace or workplace that a team is sharing in order to complete a specific project or a specific client's deliverables. So, with that being said, people stop using the SOPs with these tools, not because they're bad, but because it becomes difficult to navigate over time with the additional extras that they have in them, like your extra templates, your extra features that they use, which are unnecessary or might be unnecessary for that specific project. So now we will be going into Notion, right? And I'm assuming that you already have an account. And if you still need to know about this process, you can always go back to the previous video and have a look at that. So when it comes to this, I would say the first thing to look at here is to keep the folder structure shallow, which means that everything has to be as simple as possible. Every page can contain other pages, which makes it very tempting to nest things deeply, but you can sometimes lose what you have. So I would advise to have very few pages, not like two, three, or one page, but very few pages and pages that are very much easier to navigate. You know, okay, there's a what's this? A table of context. Yes, you can get this page here and that here. So having a table of context makes everything so much easier and straightforward. I will show you right now with this client onboarding checklist, although it doesn't necessarily have a detailed table of context, but it does have some sort of example to that. As you can see here, the bonus ready to email templates. But this one, you can treat it as a table of context. And when you just open these sections, you can see that each heading leads to a specific page. So there are three different pages here that go to specific sections with specific information. I'll do this one for an example. As you can see here, there is some information on it. And when you want to go back to the initial page, you just click here. So having a table of context makes everything easier. Instead of having this format here, I'll show you the example. We have your one, and then under your two, you have your three, and so on. So which is not necessarily an ideal format, since you can lose some information or some data, or it might be hard to find when you need it most. So that's the type of things you should avoid when having such workplaces. So what I mean here is to keep things as simple as possible and straightforward as well. So it might look organized at first, but it's a bit complicated, especially when you go deeper page into page. What I can obviously say, maybe the second thing that you have to look at is over templating. This one is not really that complex, but as you can see here, it has too many features, but it's neatly done. So what by over templating means, I will just give you a brief example. Let's, okay, I don't think you can duplicate this. Let's, okay, then where is that section? Duplicate. Okay, duplicate with the content. So by over templating, I mean having so much information like this. There's this information here, there's this information here, and let's say for example there's another table like this with so much information stacked on one on top of the other. So that's one of the issues that you could say Okay, this is way too much. Let's just keep things simple and straightforward. So that's the thing that you should stop or should have a look at. So yes, templates are very powerful, but using too many of them creates an artificial consistency that doesn't reflect reality. What I mean by this is that you have too many templates, and at the end of the day, you are busy working on the templates instead of complete the specific deliverables or KPIs that you need to work through. So that's one of the disadvantages that you say, okay, this is not really ideal. Another section you can have a look at is that teams end up filling out sections they don't need, skipping sections they do, or copying templates incorrectly. Like here, I gave you an example. There are a lot of sections here that you definitely don't need, like let's say client database or client database 2.0. Let's say, okay, if they need a backup, there'll be a client database 3.0. So there are sections that they don't really need, but they are there in that scenario. So that's the thing that you should like look at. And a better approach is having one or two lightweight SOP templates that cover the basics: title, purpose, setup, owner, just like this one, obviously without this section here. So let's try and delete this to take it back to its original simplicity. There we go. So this is how it basically looks like, and it's simple, it's straightforward, and it's not really enforced but sort of optional. It's that templates that you can use when you need to, and the templates that obviously you don't need to use when you don't need to. So that's one of the things that you can look at. So shortly navigation, where navigation is great, setups succeed, and good Notion setups makes navigation obvious without explanation. A single entry point, clear clicks, and obviously consistency naming across pages. So that's how it basically is here. So this is how you can have it, and please try to keep this as clean as possible so that it's not clustered and you can find whatever you need to find nice and easy, quick. So that's something that you can have a look at. And here with start collaboration, this is where you invite your team members to sharing a particular doc. So here you can invite your team members and you can share that template and you make use of that specific template, make changes on that template. So when the team members makes a change, it will reflect onto what you're seeing on the screen. So that's just one of the things that you can also have a look at as a team and work on together. So the strengths, let's say trade-offs that we have with Notion is that the approach trades control over usability. So you lose some enforced structure and gain adaptation and flexibility. So for teams that value flexibility and speed, this is the right trade. And for teams that focus on highly regulated environments, this might be a loss since they need that rigid and structured workflow or sequencing. So this setup actually is for, as I've explained, team that love flexibility, and it's best useful for small to mid-sized teams, fast-moving environments, and anyone who uses Notion as a general workspace to deal with them, maybe their own personal clients. So that's how you can use it. And we can have a quickly look at templates. It does the same thing as Notion. However, there are some features that are quite similar in a way that it's maybe easier to use for you depending on how you want to use it. So we have your templates here, and we have your marketplace for templates that you may need, and you also have teams where you can have your teams working on a specific project. So I'll do an examples with already in this one. Here, client onboarding checklist. With this one, we found it here on marketplace client. There we go. Client onboarding checklist. We clicked that and we pressed use template. So with that, you would find it over here. And with in terms of moving forward, you can just rename it, remove the steps that are not necessary for your client or people that you're working with, and that should be it basically. So that's how it is. And in terms of sharing this template with the team so that you can all work on it, you go to teams, you go to auto Josh, you'd name your workspace. Let's go back. Want to with your teams, You create a team and you name it Josh Otto. That's the example name of the client. And then you say invite team members, you invite them here, and you give them roles as well, if you are editor and so on. So that's how they are, and you can share the template here. So unshare, I'll unshare this one and quickly share the template. So you press share template and click the templates that you want to share with your specific team members, or you click the templates that's relevant to the client you're working on. So that's something that you can have a look at. And the in integrations as well, you can integrate it with many other different apps and tools that you're already using in your workspace. So that's another thing that you can always have a look at. And if you need any more information, if you need to play around with these tools, you can always catch the link in the description below. Play around with it at your leisure. You might find something interesting, and please do let me know in the comments. So this is it from me, and I will catch you on the next video.